Bitcoin keeps going back between 83K, 84K. It's been stabilized in this 80K range, which is definitely better from the 70K range it was at literally less than a week ago. And today we got a lot to talk about. We're going to go over the recently rugged crypto mantra. I've been getting questions about that. We're talking about that on Discord. That is not a crypto we cover on this channel, but it highlights the importance of why you got to be extremely careful with centralized altcoins and altcoins in general. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I want to go over a few things. And first off, let's kick it off with coin market cap. So fear and greed is going up, which we entered out of this intense fear, extreme fear in this red category. So when you think about it from a gas tank perspective, we're still in the territory where you want to fill up the gas tank, which in this case is adding to your bags if you can. But we're not yet out of the woods yet in terms of the fear being completely gone. Now, the market cap is still holding above the 2.5 trillion level that I said was very critical. We're not yet at that 3 trillion market cap range yet, but as you can tell, Bitcoin is at 84.5K. Ethereum is actually outpacing Bitcoin today, which is strong because we need Ethereum to do well for altcoins to rally, especially the ones within base, this ecosystem, which is layer 2 on ETH and also ETH tokens. Now, for me, for the question I'm going to get about Ethereum, I have no doubt in my mind that Ethereum will do well. It's going to do extremely well. It's a crypto that's being bought heavily by BlackRock and Trump's World Liberty Financial Group. Now, there is rumors he sold the bottom at 1,400 after telling everyone and buying it at the 3,000 range, which I saw in an article. If that's deemed to be true, that's over $125 million loss, which is insane, which goes to show us that even traders on that level are not the smartest. But it's just a rumor, obviously. If it is true, it's true. But I'm sure they have many wallets aside from just that one. But yeah, Ethereum is not going anywhere. And Ethereum is very key. And for setting us into altcoin season, now I want to read this real quick. CMC News, not caused by the team. Mantra's co-founder says as OM crashes 90% overnight. So for those who don't know, Mantra is an RWA crypto. And from what I've read in an article, apparently the team was holding 90% of the supply in different wallets, which is very common, especially amongst meme coins, and that they sent a large amount of money, I think it was 3.5 million, give or take, to an exchange. It was like OKX, which, a lot of people do track these wallets or these teams to see what's going on, because oftentimes these teams use wallets for marketing purposes, partnerships, and sometimes they just do it for different things, right? But in this case, they sent it to an exchange. We'll get into the article, to get specifics, but I'm just giving you my take on what I saw. And when you see a crypto being sent to an exchange, usually that means you're going to sell it, because an exchange is not self-custody, and there's really no reason to put it there unless you're literally trying to sell it, which that caused a huge chain reaction. They sold it, and it wasn't even a slow rug. It went from like $7, 2:30 in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time yesterday. I was busy, so I didn't check this till hours later. And then by the time I did check it, it went all the way down to 80 cents. And I think now it's currently like 70 cents. We'll pull it up. But it went all the way down to 40 cents. And then like people were trading it, like Terra Luna, for example. And that's the thing. Be very careful if you're trading this, because it happened in Terra Luna. Terra Luna crashed 95%. And then it had many days where it went up a 2x, 3x, 4x because people were trading it, which some people made some good gains, but eventually it just went down and down for good. And I know the same's going to happen for Mantra. It's not going to come back. Once the trust is gone, it's gone. And once these traders lose interest in trading, you're going to see it lose the support level again and go right down. So just be very careful if you think you're, going to trade this. Probably going to lose that trade. So let's see what this says. This is by CoinMarketCap now. Then we'll get back into it. So yeah, overnight to 70 cents, wiping billions. So this was at one point, I believe, a 7 billion market cap. And yeah, it was $6.30 down to 70 cents. Holy crap. See, this is the thing. And look, it went down. Yeah, okay. So around 3 o'clock or so, right down within 5 hours. And this is the crazy part about altcoins, right? We don't know what the team's intentions are unless they have their tokenomic structure like on their website. It's very hard to gauge how much they're holding. And when you have insiders with this kind of power and they have malicious intentions, this is what can happen. Now, personally, I am not buying their story about them saying they're not rugging it. Obviously, they're going to save face. They don't want to be pursued by the authorities like Terra Luna's Donquan. They're not going to come out and be like, oh, yeah, we rugged you guys. Yeah. Like, they're going to obviously, say something happened you know, to try to get away with it. But yeah, we're not gonna bullshit here. This is definitely a rug. It's a huge rug, and this is a huge problem in crypto. This is why you have Bitcoin maxis, because whoever's holding this bag, and I feel very sorry for investors holding this. Like I can't even imagine this happening. Like imagine you're at work on yesterday, or like me, I was just away from my phone and my laptop for a few hours, and you come back and your money's all gone, like literally all gone in thin air, like and with no consequence too, because there's no regulation for crypto. It's honestly insane. It's very upsetting to see this, whether you're holding it or not. This is not nice to see. And when this happened with Terra Luna back in 2022 and then FTX crashed, it really opened your eyes as an investor to be very careful with your investments. Now, personally, this could happen to anyone, to any crypto. Like, yeah, we have tokenomics on websites, but again, it's very hard to verify. And I guess in this case with Mantra, the contract was not renounced, which that's where if the contract's not renounced, the team can essentially pull liquidity out, which is what they did. Or in this case, it probably was renounced and they just sold their entire allocation. But the reason why I'm suggesting it was not renounced was because from what I read, they were changing the tokenomic structure of the crypto, which is essentially the supply, which you can't do unless the contract is open, which in this case it probably was. That's why you see a lot of meme coins, the ones that say fixed supply and that's it. The reason they can say that is because for those specific meme coins, the contract's renounced, meaning it's closed and no one can change the code on it and no one can migrate it. No one can just rug it unless the team is holding a lot of the supply, which oftentimes you see on some of them. So this is pretty insane. Okay, so yeah, this crypto, and it sucks too because it's in the RWA niche. So now a lot of people are saying that ONDO is going to go through the same thing. This is what I saw with FTX when it crashed, and everyone kept saying that Coinbase was next, Crypto.com was next. So naturally, you're going to see this. I have yet to see if ONDO came out and said anything. I mean, obviously, it's good for them in terms of competition, but we were talking about this on X. Someone was sharing a link that potentially there's insiders, like really large holders of insiders holding Ondo, which might do the same thing, which obviously it's just hearsay. No one's going to prove anything. But it is something to be aware of, right? Because we don't know any crypto's intentions. Obviously they have strong connections, and with Trump backing them, BlackRock integrated with them, they're literally working with XRP's ledger, Solana's ledger. I think Ondo's safe, and not to mention Ondo's on Coinbase. Mantra was not on Coinbase. And I'm not saying Coinbase is the end all be all of exchanges, but I have yet to see a crypto on Coinbase get rugged. Like everyone thought Jasmine was going to be rugged. Never happened. It's on Coinbase. Terra Luna was never on Coinbase. And Mantra was never on Coinbase. And now I'm actually curious. I want to see if Mantra came out and said anything. Let's see. It's a very upsetting day for crypto because they had good partnerships and the layer one blockchain for RWAs. Let's see. Okay, that's a pinned comment. What the hell? Oh my god. That is cringe. Cringe, 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 cringe. I mean, this guy had no choice but to speak out. But listen, unless you guys had a massive security breach and got hacked, it's a rug pull. It's a rug pull. There's really no way around it. And they're just trying to save face. Yeah, it makes sense. Listen, again, no company is gonna come out and be like, "Yes, you guys are right. We're sorry." Like, obviously, they're gonna come out like this and try to save face. You know, it is what it is. Um, let's now go to Coin Market Cap and let's see what exchanges Mantra was on, and if there was any warning signs aside from that, and whether you're holding it or not. Like, this video is relevant to you because you should be researching your coins and applying what I'm saying to your own research. Because again, the more educated you are as an investor, the more aware you are, the more you do your due diligence, the better off you're going to be in safeguarding yourself from situations like this. This can still happen to any of us. It can happen to me, it can happen to you, it can happen to anyone. But you'll be a little bit more safer and guarded and better protected. As you can see here right off the bat, they had a max supply, a non-max supply, infinite supply. Usually that's not great, but it is common for layer ones to do that. Ethereum also does not have a max supply. I see they had what's the circulating? So let's see if they show the token. I mean, they're not going to show the tokenomics here, of course. Let's see, token unlocks. See, look, the team 17%. They made it seem like the team was not holding much, 17% and then 5.5. But apparently they were holding 90%. So it goes to show you, I mean, obviously CMC is very wrong on this, but it goes to show you like you can't just trust all the analytics of what you see. It's very disturbing. Now I'm just curious to see what exchanges had listed it before it got delisted. Um, so Binance listed it. So again, Binance has listed coins before that have rugged. Now Binance is still the best exchange when it comes to obviously non-US citizens, but you got to be careful with some of the coins. Coinbase has never listed a coin to do this, at least to my knowledge. Bybit, OKX, so it didn't get Kraken. And it didn't get many tier ones, just Binance, and OKX is a smaller exchange. And they probably thought they can get away with moving their funds to OKX because it's a smaller exchange, which probably goes under the radar compared to Binance. But contrary to that belief, they obviously got made. So, it's very upsetting. And I'm not a Bitcoin maxi, right? But I appreciate Bitcoin maxi's viewpoint when it comes to situations like this, because I realize the more time you have in the markets, the more you appreciate decentralized finance, decentralization, and teams not being in control of your crypto, right? And this draws the eyes to proof of work coins like Bitcoin, right? So that's why I've been increasing my allocation of Bitcoin. There's no one out there to rug it, to change the code, to say, hey guys, we're going to change the tokenomic structure of it. We're going to migrate to proof of stake. We're going to sell some coins to pay for marketing, so on and so forth. You don't have that issue with Bitcoin. So that's a huge draw to it, right? But what do you get as a trade-off? You get returns on your investment are not as good as altcoins. You don't get as much excitement, and it's boring, and it's very expensive. But again, it's all relative to your other goals too. Like if you're comparing it to the stock market, which you don't see a 2x in stocks until about 8 years in, Bitcoin is enormously better. So it's all relative to what you're investing into, right? And I have Bitcoin now 10% of my allocation of my portfolio, 65% utility, 25% memes, and 10% Bitcoin. I am slowly upping my Bitcoin to make it 20% of my portfolio. I may even go higher in the future. Who knows? We'll see if we see a bigger drop. I just DCA into it. It's like a bank account to me. And yeah, I will say I am very much more careful nowadays. Especially with what's been going on, because I've seen a lot of these crashes, right? I was there for Terra Luna. I'm there now for Mantra, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more cryptos like this. And until we get regulation in place, it's going to be a free for all, which means you have to be extremely careful. Okay, I cannot stress that enough. You have to be careful. Now, personally, if we're talking about the bull cycle, right, I do not think we're in a bear market yet. I think we're actually on track to see one of the best bull cycles we've ever seen before. I said it in recent videos, the M2 money supply is increasing. The fear and greed is getting better every single day, and Bitcoin is holding up new levels of support in higher ranges. It went from the 77 to 82K range, and now we're currently in this 84, 85K range, which is pretty damn good. It's a subtle change. And Ethereum outpacing the market right now, although very subtle, is a strong indicator that Ethereum is going to do well. Ethereum is even outpacing Bitcoin today. Again, not by much. It's still a $1,600 crypto, but it is interesting to see that. And again, a lot of this altcoin season does hedge on the fact that Ethereum is going to do well, which I'm very much a strong believer in. So now, in terms of crypto coins, you can go towards large caps. If you want to go towards these larger, heavier coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, Cardano, like say 5, and you just want to set it, forget it, and that's it, that's fine. But if you're trying to make a lot more money, you want to go into mid caps and low caps. Now, the risk increases, which is why stuff like Mantra, you have to really do your due diligence on, but you don't have to be chasing the 100x. That's something I really wanted to talk about in today's video because a lot of investors come in, and I don't know if it's coming from friends or what they see out there in the news, but they come in with these like, I want to make 100x right away. And that's fine. And you can definitely do it, but it shouldn't be your main priority because it's very hard to achieve, a lot harder, a lot easier said than done for sure. And if you can make a 2, 3, 4, 5x, you're already doing solid. And if you can make a 10x on a mid cap, you're not only getting that safety factor, but you can multiply it over time and make that 100x. You only need a 10x times 2 to make 100x. You really think about it. So it's really achievable when you focus on the little wins leading to the bigger wins, right? Instead of trying to always chase for the grand slam here, you can make some good money by getting into some safer plays, right? So for me, I have a combination of low caps, mid caps, and large caps. But again, the more money you have in the market, you can go a little bit more towards the heavier, chunkier, stronger, more established coins. And the less money you have in the market, I'm saying like 4 figures, 5 figures, like 1,000 to 10,000 or so. You want to be in your micro caps. That way you can flip that money into like 50K, 100K, and then at some point, if you want to, you can become more risk averse and move towards safer plays. But you can also just go straight into larger caps too. So I don't know what your goals are, but again, if you're struggling with your portfolio, if you're having concerns about the market, if you're severely having a stressful time, I encourage you to join my Discord. It's a huge support group. It really helps a lot. You don't have to take my word for it. You can join and see for yourself. And a lot of investors love it for that purpose specifically. Aside from just the alerts and talking to me, it really does help, especially during this time. We are probably a little bit ways away from the actual bull market coming back. But again, when it comes back, you don't want to be trying to figure it out then. You want to be figuring it out now and prepare now so you can set yourself up and leave when the bull market comes back versus all your peers and friends jumping in trying to make money before it's too late. So it's a great place to be. But again, when you're prepared in this market, you're more guarded, you're in a better position to make profits, you feel better, and you feel more, self-assured and confident. And at that point, it's just a waiting game for massive profits. And I think massive profits are definitely knocking at the door. I don't think they're right here around the corner, but I think they're not that far off either. And that's just my personal intuition. But I'm very curious to hear your thoughts now. What do you think about Mantra rugging? When do you think the profit taking stage or bull cycle is going to be coming back? I'm very curious to know. Drop your comments down below and let me know. And if you enjoyed this video as usual, please leave a like. Definitely helps a lot. I'll do a toast before this video is over. And I'll see you guys in that next video. Take care.